Steve McQueen is probably the master of catching rawness in film. Not rawness as in grossity as you see in horror films and things, but raw emotion in his films is so clear and so viable and relatable to an audience. That is where his talent lies. And what I want to do in this video is look into the rawness of his films and just show people the talent that this man has. So, the film that he's most known for came out back in 2013. You've probably heard of 12 Years a Slave, based off the book with the same name, which was written by Solomon Northup, who was a man who was forced into slavery back in the 1800s. And it's a horrifying story, and one that in the past a couple people have tried to make short films and little feature-length films as well about, but it was a story that had so much heart through all of the pain and struggling. And Steve McQueen, his wife actually found 12 Years a Slave, the book, and he wanted to take it upon himself to tell this story. And I literally think this is one of the greatest pieces of film ever made, and that alone shows his talent. And I want to explore some of his other movies as well, to just show the sheer amazing directorial vision that this man has. But very recently I watched Hunger a little bit. I watched it as well. I had to just watch clips. I watched it as well when I was much younger, so I'm not going to go too in depth on that. But that was his first film, and about a prison in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. Very raw, very horrific sort of film, and has Michael Fassbender in, which him and Steve McQueen often collaborate a lot since then, and they're great together, like Scorsese and De Niro. Yeah, Hunger was a fantastic film, but I still believe that it was kind of a learning process. Everyone that has these first films is still sort of learning, I feel. And it was the same with Steve McQueen. So, later on, in 2011, he made Shame, which is a film that I saw, and I had no idea that it was the same director as 12 Years a Slave, and I'd seen 12 Years a Slave before I saw Shame. And Shame I thought was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Michael Fassbender again pulls it out the bag with his acting, and Steve McQueen constantly in interviews is complimenting the fact that Michael Fassbender is such an amazing actor, because he really is, the talent is just there, and he was perfect for this role. And for only the second feature-length movie, bam, he knocked it out the park straight away. Fantastic movie, one of the best of the 21st century. Nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with this film. Captures all of the emotion, the fact that this character, he's a sex addict, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically he starts to realise that he's struggling. It's a problem that he has, and he can't tell people, he can't admit anything. He's stuck with himself, and he's stuck with the fact that he is this addict that he is so disgusted by. And then we have Carey Mulligan as well, who plays his sister, who he's annoyed with because she's going around sleeping with all these different men and can't make anything of herself. And the dynamic between the two I think is so clever, and then when it mainly follows him and all the women that he meets and the interactions, every single scene in this film is very much sort of almost poetry in how it's told. It's everything seems so perfect, but it's not. You can tell that within the story it's not perfect, but the display of it is perfect, if you understand what I mean with that. Just an amazing film, and to produce such a thing is just absolutely masterful work, really, really is. And then, obviously, he did 12 Years a Slave, and more recently, in recent years, he made Widows, which I will not lie, I haven't seen. I was going to watch it, but I can't actually find anywhere I can really see it. Except I have to buy it. I want to rent it somewhere. So that's on me, but I will get around to watching this film, and it's had amazing reviews, and the cast is just outstanding, and with him as a director, I'm sure this film is knockout fantastic. But I want to concentrate back to 12 Years a Slave. This film alone, I could have just made a video on, to be honest, because it is truly a masterpiece. It is just amazing how you can tell a story of such woe and struggle and the horrific things that happen. It's just sickening to watch this film sometimes, and I've rewatched it probably 4 or 5 times because even though it's so horrifying and horrific, it's a beautiful film. The way it's shot, the way it's told, the story itself, which obviously McQueen didn't come up with because it was written by the man himself. But yeah, for a true story to be this gut-wrenching and to be displayed and with such cinematic prowess and win Best Picture, which it was so deserving of, and Chiwetel Ejiofor, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, he deserved an Oscar, and everything I've seen of him, from Children of Men to, I don't know, Doctor Strange, he's been fantastic. Amazing actor. And again, Steve McQueen brings in Fassbender as one of the slave owners, and Fassbender pulls out the bag again to be this disgusting man, horrible character. And everyone else involved in the film, Benedict Cumberbatch, all the side characters, everyone, just so perfect. All of these castings, everything, just amazing. Really fantastic film. Really, really amazing. Really, you need to kind of see the fact that this film I feel is actually underrated, which sounds weird because of how well known it is, and you know, that it won Best Picture and everything, but I think it's underrated in the fact that people accept that it's amazing, but they're not accepting that it is truly fantastic, one of the best films of the 2010s, by a huge margin. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I can guarantee you, almost, that there is no real film that can capture such emotion and rawness as this one. Very few films have made me feel so connected to what is going on screen. And yes, slavery is it's a very difficult topic for people to recreate and produce, and I was surprised when I first watched 12 Years a Slave, which is when I first found out about Steve McQueen, that he was British. I expected it to be an American guy, but even more props to him for that. Absolutely amazing, out of the park job with this film. And yeah, like every single interview that you see with Steve McQueen go into his character himself. He's so smart with his words, and you can tell that he's a real deep thinker, and he has this vision of directing. He knows how to make a film. He's just one of those people that was just born with the talent of it. You've got to respect him. Absolute masterclass. He's a great, great director. All of his films, I really need to watch Widows, because it is, I hear, amazing, and all his films are fantastic. But just the rawness, again going back to that rawness of emotion that he can capture, is something that you can't just learn. It's something that he's very much talented in doing. And with his great casting and his great eye and seeing how to tell a story and how to put it on screen and really make a story such as 12 Years a Slave respectable and bring it into the light as it deserves to be seen for the atrocities that happened. He's done an amazing job. And Shame as well, it showed, obviously it's not based on a true story, but it's based on stories that could be true. There's people that suffer with these sort of things, and it's something that's seen as maybe a bit of a joke, but it's a horrifying thing to be an addict when it comes to something like that even. And he captures all this emotion, and just the writing, and it's so hard to explain. You have to watch these films. He's someone that really needs to, you need to get him out there, and it's a real shame that he shares a name with the famous actor Steve McQueen, because it's very hard to actually look him up. You have to, specify the fact you're looking for the director, which is a real shame, because you don't want his name to hold him back, because he's one of the best directors of the modern age, and just, yeah, he knows how to capture this emotion, and he's a real talent. Absolutely amazing. Gotta watch more Steve McQueen films. Great director, really is a real talent.